episode of Different Juice. I was about to say different breed. It's another episode of Different Juice podcast. We back. We got a special guest today. I'll just let you introduce yourself.
Dade Dinero, man. P.V.O. / P.V.O. Dade Dinero. Maybe one day I'll start giving my real name, but I like the sound of Dade right now.
He was on a episode a couple months ago. So we just brought him back to talk about mental health today. All right, so we're just gonna get right into it.
Yes, sir.
All right, first question is, we've been asking these questions for like years now. So why isn't mental health taken seriously, especially like in our generation? It's not taken seriously.
I just think, especially like say in the Black community, because I've been thinking about this a lot. Like I said, personally, I went through I think my first stage of actual depression a couple months ago, and I was just in a bad place, even with all the stuff. But the last couple weeks, like you said, how I've been doing, I've been doing a lot better. But it's just, I don't think we address it enough, because I think we have this that natural instinct, we just strong and not gonna talk about it and stuff like that, especially being men. But I think too, the ones that came before us, even our parents and our aunties, uncles, not saying they meant any harm or anything, but I don't think that they really considered it, from their perspective. So I think as a whole, we just don't really seem to address it, because I don't think we understand how serious it is, and we might not even notice that we're suffering with mental illness. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I agree with
mental health issues. So it's just kind of crazy, but I just think, like you say, we don't bring enough awareness to it, because I think we don't take it seriously enough.
Mm-hmm. Like you said, especially in our generation, when somebody said they're depressed, or they say they're in a bad state of mind, people don't take it seriously, because it's just overlooked. If you say that, people will call you soft. They'll call you weak. They'll be like, "Oh, just tough it out," and stuff like that. Yeah. So I feel like that's why a lot of people, even when they are depressed, they don't like to express it, especially people our age or younger even, because they're afraid of what their peers would think of them. They're afraid of what their family members might think of them, and especially like you said, in the Black community, I feel like if I would have went to one of my family members and be like, "Oh, I feel depressed," they would just laugh. They won't take it seriously. Yeah, they would just be like, "Oh, you just go do something, get over it." And stuff like that.
I think though too, because it's thin line, between all that, what makes it I guess a little tricky is that, I think we tend to think, because whatever, I guess, environment we're in, or how I want to say this, we tend to think that, even though things might not be the best situation, and not helping us as a whole from where we live in, and the daily lives, and we confuse it with just saying it's normal. So that's why you say they'll laugh, because even though you might have problems, and you don't think you're depressed, because we keep drinking, or we just keep partying. So it's we don't even notice it, and that's the problem. We think in the natural state of mind, it's normal, but it's not normal. It's not normal for always to do stuff when you're feeling. And that was what happened with me, because I was drinking before COVID a lot, so I stopped drinking. I probably had 4 drinks in the last 2 months or more, so I don't even drink anymore. And I thought it was putting me in a bad space, mentally, when I would drink, and then all the stuff, and then I would try to use that to feel good for that little short period of time. Yeah. But I realized the only way to really, you gotta address it head on. You can't just keep masking it with drinking and stuff like that. So I think that's why they say, "Oh, just tough it out." And it's it's if you had an ACL tear, you know what I mean?
Mhm.
oh, just tough it out. But nah, bro, like you got to get that checked out. You got to get
Yeah,
surgery on it.
you gotta get
You know what
checked.
I'm saying? You got to get
Yeah,
it checked. We got to address this issue. And
because
so,
it'll be worse if you just like try to tough it out. Yeah,
yeah. And so they say, oh, just tough it out. But then next thing you know, like you say, you find yourself getting deeper and deeper. But especially for our Black community, one thing I can say, we are a strong community. We were born to survive. This how it was made for us. So like, we are survivors, but at the same time, like, I think we need to stop just saying surviving and like address some real issues.
Yeah, so speaking on the Black community, about health, like for example, why they always make jokes, like for example, with Will Smith and the Jada Pinkett thing.
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
that's a big example. That's a good
I
example.
mean,
That was wrong.
and stuff, and then now people are just letting Kanye, people in his circle are just letting Kanye make a fool of himself, and just I don't know. I don't know. I don't want to judge him.
Yeah, but like, I just, like, for me lately, bro, like, I've really just been like focusing on the word accountability. And like, I guess you see like the podcast that we probably shared on my Facebook the other day was talking about with Nick Cannon's situation. But just in general, like with everything going on, and especially with our generation and more with everything that's going on, like we live in like, it's everything so sensitive. But like, I was thinking this other day, yesterday I was telling somebody, like when we say people are crazy, like what is crazy? You know what I mean? What defines crazy? It's crazy because, is it Kanye crazy because he doesn't think like 10 other million people? Or, or it's what he said holds some kind of weight, but the masses don't agree. So the best thing to do is seeing somebody crazy if they're speaking something that you're not familiar to. Like, that's like if you probably ran into somebody who didn't speak another language or something, and you met him for the first time and he started talking, you'd be like, oh, this dude's crazy, but really you just don't understand what he's saying. You know what I mean? Because he got his own perspective. And I think like that's the problem just in whole society. Like what Kanye said, I get what people say, but I just think, man, it's tricky. I just think like we just too many judgmental, like people judging, especially famous people and celebrities and stuff like that. I just don't see the real, I don't see the real value in that, as opposed to like maybe thinking, just trying to think on I guess a little deeper level. Because even when Kanye said back what he said, the comments, what it was a couple years ago when he said that slaves, what did he say about the slaves the first time? Dang.
Slavery was a choice.
Slavery was a choice. And so like, and we had this discussion a couple weeks ago with a couple people of my friends, and when I heard that, I remember thinking like, okay, boom. I get, people from hearing it off rip. I feel like people quick, especially in today's society, a lot of people are just quick to take everything literal. And so like, I felt like he wasn't saying like, people made it seem like he said, oh, Black people just put themselves in shackles and said, oh, take us and be slaves. But, in a sense, it's kind of like, if somebody took us all hostage tomorrow and made us slaves, and we've been there for a year. Now, even though there might be certain consequences with you trying to break free from that slavery, it all comes down to a choice. And so, like, I get the fear part in slavery because it was, your kids was getting killed and things like that. But all that doesn't deny the fact that just built fear in you. So out of fear, you chose to just say, okay, boom. Because like if all the slaves would have really just rose up and just, went ham, things would have been different. So like, I feel like at some point it does become a choice. Now, whether people agree with it or not, I feel like there was a choice. You know what I mean? So like some to it, but I get what they're saying. But I think we just be too quick to make it seem like, especially in our own community. That's why I'm like, we just so quick to like tear down people like Kanye and things like that who have set an example coming from similar places. So he's seeing things that we haven't seen. So like, you got to understand, like he got a whole new perspective. He's been around the world. He's been things. So some of the things he said might be true, but I just think we just take things too literal, and people don't tend to think before they just hear it. You know what I mean? So I feel like most people felt like he was saying like they took it like he was saying, oh, we just chose to be slaves. And I don't think that. I think it was deeper than that. And it's kind of right now like we're technically free, but I don't think you're never really free, especially as a black man or female in America, until you mentally are free.
You're on mute.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's true. And I was saying, what do you think? What tools can we provide like the youth that's coming up so they can get out of like that mindset that you're talking about?
Bro, we need to just start preaching more education. Like, we talk about education, we talk about all the problems that's with education, but I don't see real, like, just change being made. But like, we need to bring back critical thinking. We need to get kids thinking again. And now it's even harder to get people to do that because social media is moving so fast. The internet at full scale right now. So like, especially young kids, they got iPhones, iPads. So like, everything they see is moving. It don't take them but what? 2 minutes before Instagram upload another 100,000 pictures. So you know what I'm saying? Your whole time we cruising social media. All that stuff is just subconsciously going in our mind. And so it makes it hard for you to think with people, especially kids, to think for themselves when you live in an era where it's trends and all that kind of stuff, and you see this and stuff like that. So we need to get back to teaching, like critical thinking, like we said, self-awareness, but mostly like, teaching these kids to, like say, think for themselves and understand that there's something that they can do that, is a passion or a gift or whatever it might be, that we need to help bring them out. You know what I mean? Like, kids are following too much and they're not being nurtured enough into who they should be as an individual, as opposed to what society wants to see all the kids doing. So I think we just need we need a little more education. And I think from like, as a community, from like the family, from like the OGs and all that stuff. Cause you always hear like people say, oh, this generation is so lost. And I'd be like, in my mind, I'm saying like, this generation is a product of the people who raised them. So like, and it's no disrespect to like say nobody, my mom and nobody, because we know our parents did the best they can, but like nobody in my family ever tried to start through business. Nobody. So like, this thing they just don't know. So like, we are only a product of how we were raised. And then that always goes back to accountability. And you know how it is, especially when it comes to parent stuff. A lot of times accountability doesn't really, I'm the parent, you're the kid, and that's how it's supposed to be. And that's where the problems lie.
And that right there too, that is where the problems lie, because that right there too, oh, you're a little kid, blah blah blah, that could tear down and that could really fuck with their mental health. Yeah, tear down.
Bro, that messed with me like my whole life. Like I've been taught my whole family, bro. Like I won't say, but yeah, I had, bro, my whole life, like, it's bothered me. But like, I'm finally getting over, like, people talk down and people call me slow. They say in middle school I was slow and I wasn't this and that, and like, man, I got more sense than half the people walking around here. Yeah. I just didn't have the right structure. I didn't have my father figure. I was a product of my environment. So like, nobody was teaching these things, and that's just what's going on. Like you said, especially in the Black community, we don't have enough of our leaders really, like, nurturing. So it's tricky. It's tricky, and you don't even know you're dealing with it, and that's the thing about it.
So do you think we need more like more black like children? Well, not children, so to say. We need more black like adults trying to be more in the education field, so it can help.
I think it's hard. I mean, we do, but I think it's hard to educate somebody on something you don't know. So, even if you're older, younger, that's why I support out. I'm starting. We just got to continue to educate ourselves first. And I think just as a whole, a lot of things we just don't know. We're not used to seeing. And as you know, like, I'm a big fan of Gary Vee, so I watch him a lot. But he's part of the Jewish community. But that's a whole different perspective. But that's why I watch it a lot, because it's just certain things in our community that we're not really educated on. You know what I mean? And that's just because they don't give it to us like that. But it's easy to find nowadays. But I think, yes, the parents need to do more educating, especially now. Like, I think a lot of these parents can't really educate their kids, like they should be able to. You know what I mean? So
what do you think parents and kids should have to be able to learn like that knowledge, like that hidden?
Oh,
You're teaching this, like, how are
you
they? how
need
do
to start.
they get access to that, and how do they get access to that, and how should they implement it into like the educational plan that they're feeding kids in schools?
Oh, you saying for like at the school? You talking about from the school to the kids, or you talking about the parents to the kids?
Like, yeah, like how do we get from what the parents learn like outside of school? Like, how do we get like that education that they're not teaching in school? How do we get it into the school? You know what I'm saying? Like, for instance, like
Mm-hmm.
Black culture, we have to
Mm-hmm.
research about Black culture on our own, on ourselves. Like,
Mm-hmm.
how do
Mm-hmm.
we get it so that we don't have to do it in our side time? That it's part of our education plan.
Well,
Oh,
then that's
how can you get it?
Yeah,
so.
yeah,
I mean,
yeah. Basically.
yeah.
Uh,
I mean, I guess you would really, if we're going to be technical about it, you're going to have to get more Black parents involved in school, first of all. So they got to get, parents got to start being involved in, like, I guess what it was, the PTA, and like, first of all, getting into the actual system, we're going to do it. But like, I feel like at this point, we need to start focusing more on ownership and, like you said, coming together, maybe building our own schools, because the schools that are provided, those are not our curriculums. You can't really, what's the chance of us coming in and impacting the curriculum? We got to go through the state, the board, and all that kind of stuff. But if you have your own school, then we can implement what we want. So we need to focus on ownership. So it's important, like, I think you got to start at the house, really. So by the time your kid gets to school, he can be like, oh, this ain't right because my mom has taught me this. You know what I'm saying? Like, this ain't making sense. And so I just think it really falls on ownership. But if we don't own our own schools, then we need to own our own semi-schools in our household. So, but in order to really get in there, it's going to take parents getting involved, voting and all that stuff, and getting on the commission board. But I feel like that can be done. Nothing's impossible. But I think that's a way more overwhelming task than just starting in your household and teaching your kid yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Another thing I think would be good to for the youth to help with mental health is
Mm-hmm.
getting the kids more used to going to the guidance counselor to actually talk to the guidance counselor, because a lot of like in our school, a lot of kids only go to the guidance counselor just to chill,
Mm-hmm.
just to talk about anything
Mm-hmm.
but the mental health. But
Mm-hmm.
once kids get more comfortable with actually talking about what's going on in their life, what's bothering them, what's happening in their
Mm-hmm.
like what's happening to them mentally, I feel like that would be a big step into helping kids with their mental health, because a lot of people, like a lot of kids, they don't really, like you were saying earlier, they don't really know they're depressed. They don't really know
Mm-hmm.
they're going through depression. They don't really understand. A lot of them don't even know the real definition of depression. So I feel like also, like the guidance counselor, they need to have a much more variety of race, like white guidance counselor, black, Hispanic. Yeah, like I was saying, just to get more variety of different type of guidance counselor. Because, for example, if I'm in high school or something, and I live in like a bad neighborhood, I live in a bad community, I'm not
Mm-hmm.
going I'm not gonna go to like a guidance counselor that I see like that came from like a rich ass town and that
Well,
knows
yeah,
nothing about what I'm going
yeah.
through. So
I was
obviously
just
I'm not
about to
gonna
say
go.
that.
Yeah, I'm not
Yeah.
gonna go to her and be like him or her and be like, oh, this is what's going on, because she's not gonna understand what's going on. All
Mm-hmm.
she's gonna say is like, she's probably gonna try her best to understand, but she's not really gonna understand because she didn't go through what I'm going through, or she didn't like even experience
Yeah.
half of the things I'm going through. So like getting a variety of different type of guidance counselor for like kids in high school, middle school, and so
Mm-hmm.
on will definitely help with mental health. That's what I think.
Yeah, but it's like I feel like it's so tricky now because, bro, like you gotta. It's just like with anything. When like, if you're gonna be a teacher, you're gonna be a counselor, then you need to do that 120%. Like, you know what I'm saying? You need to give your best. Like, you need to understand that people are coming to you in faith that you're gonna give them the best advice possible. But like you said, some of them not coming from this, don't even know how to relate, and then some of them just coming for a check. A lot of people just come for a check. So like, they'll tell you the basics. Just keep being positive, and You just go to work. You
I
go
hate
to.
when they say that.
You know,
Dead ass, bro.
just
I
give
hate
it,
when they say that.
just give it your best, and things always work out. Like that's the basics, but like you gotta understand, this kid heard that for 20 minutes, but then he goes back home and he sees the reality of his problem still there. So all that's
Exactly.
drowned out. So,
Hmm.
like I said, I think it's important. Like I said, that's why I think we need to really like hone in and start doing it like in our household. Like that's why I think for my mom, raised me with all the manners and like being respectful. I get it. I understand. Like it might not be common, but like that's where it starts at, bro. I think it really starts at the house, and then you can branch out because depending on the schools and education system and all, just look around COVID-19, the system is broken, bro. It's been broken. So like, we can't continue to, I feel like we can't continue to say why education school doing this, like nothing's changed. Like, you know what I
Yeah,
mean? For
because
the most part.
half of the stuff they teach us in school is completely wrong. Like I just realized it after I graduated high school. Like I just realized
Yeah.
after I graduated high school that most of the stuff they were teaching us is wrong. Like not even close. It's crazy.
No, not close. And it's nothing that prepares you for like the real world. That's why like when I tried to go
Exactly.
to college, like I just told myself like it makes no sense for me to be sitting in somebody's classroom like for 8 hours out the day when I could just be working for 8 hours out the day. Because at the end of the day,
Mhm.
you're supposed to go to school just to work and get a job. So somehow we had this thing that unless you're gonna be a doctor, lawyer, things like that, like you need to go to school. But like if you're gonna pursue photography or you're gonna be an artist, whatever. Like these things you can do without going to school. You just start doing it. You just start working. And I feel like at a point it used to be, a long time ago, they used to have like workshop in school. They used to teach like wood shop, teach kids skills in school. But I feel like, unfortunately, especially in the black community, that's not a big thing. And we need to be teaching skills. Kids, social studies, history, all that like is cool. But unless I'm gonna be like a historian major, or unless I'm gonna do something like that, bro, I need to be learning the skill. Teach these kids skills. Teach these kids how to manage money. Teach these kids how to work. Like how to work. Just need to work. Like that's what it's about. At the end of the day, it's just about working. And so like that school, I never been big on school. I was never big on school, bro. I was getting suspended in the third grade. So I was trouble from the beginning. Like school was just
Third
not for me,
grade.
bro. But like in third grade, I was suspended, bro. Like crazy. I mean, third grade, I put like a rock in the back door one time and left the door open. And I came back like that day after class and stole all the airheads and all the blow pops. And the next day, the teacher like, somebody stole all the candy. So bro, I was just bad. But but I mean, school. I just feel like, bro, it's not about making money, but it's about making money. So I don't need a teacher to tell me I need to study social studies to make money. Don't need it. You can teach me a skill, teach mechanics, start teaching these kids how to be mechanics, how to be plumbers, have an AC class, all these things that these when they say go to what's the school they call, like you go to tech school, I guess, or like I can't think of the actual word when you go learn like a trade school
Yeah,
where you go
trade school.
learn how to do like AC, barb. You know what I'm saying? Like kids would benefit better if you just have a barbershop class.
Yeah.
Like imagine if you just you hire barbers, right, at a school and let these kids take 5 hours or whatever, 20 hours a year for the 4 years they're in high school. So in ninth grade, you're getting a certain amount of hours in barber class. You can still teach me social studies and all, but in the midst of that, I'm going to this barbershop class every day for 4 years. Bro, when I come out, I'm not gonna be thinking about no social studies. I'm gonna be thinking about how can I make money now because I got the skills at cutting hair. And I'll start probably cutting hair in school. Start coming home, and stuff like that. But I think it's leaving that in it. That would be nice. You can do stuff like that. Just start hiring other people and putting them in the schools who can teach skills and trades. But
Yeah,
that's just my opinion.
once you implement that in schools, I feel like that'll make kids like open their eyes more. Like, oh, these people are actually trying to help me achieve my dreams. I actually have that support that I need.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
it's-
yeah.
if I want to
It
do,
gives you something different to see. Give you something.
if I have any
Yeah,
questions about this field, instead of being lost on my own and failing and getting down on myself, like
yeah,
or her to help me out, figure out the ropes, get on, like get my hands wet.
yeah. Because you tell a kid to learn trigonometry, whatever it is, or mathematics, multiplication, division. But the thing is, when I go home, I see my mama struggling, bro. You know what I'm saying? I see, like, ain't no food in the house. Like, I ain't got time to be worried about social study. I need to figure out what can I do different that my mom doesn't know, so I can make a change and do that better. How can I learn how to make money? You know what I mean? Because that's what we need at the end of the day. Like, you want me to go through school for 12 years watching my mom or my family struggle, but meanwhile, you know, you want me to be worried about mathematics and social studies while I'm at home. It's not going to work. It doesn't work that way.
And I don't know how to replace a flat tire.
Yeah. So
yeah, that would be such a good idea if schools do that. Like you were saying, like have like a trade, like a trade class to like learn different skills and stuff. Because like I didn't know till like last year, I didn't know like somebody could easily start their own business. You don't have to like have a business license. You don't need to go to school 4 years just to get a license before you start. I had no idea. But after I figured it out, went on YouTube and figured it out myself, that's when I was like, oh shit, I could just start my own business. And bam, I did. Like, but if I would have knew in high school, what?
That's what I said.
Like,
I knew what I knew 10 years ago, but like, you don't need to just start. I worked with this girl. She says like, oh, I want to start cooking food and delivering, but I don't have a big kitchen. And I was like, if you don't got a big kitchen, so then just cook 2 of your best dishes. If you cook apple pies, just cook apple pies in 1 dish and just sell that. Like, there's always options. Like, you don't have to be making full course meals. And that's just with business. Like, you just start. Like, I still haven't got all the stuff I need for P.V.O. just yet, but I'm not concerned with that because I got so many ideas with the trademark. Like, I'm not even concerned in that aspect. But like, you have to start, and that's what we got. We got to start. Like, just start. Too many people just say, "Oh, this and that. Do I need this and that?" You'll find out what you need along the way. I guarantee you. If you're doing it, you know what I'm saying. You'll find out what you need, but you waste more time debating on what you need than actually just putting in the effort. And that's like, say, business and stuff like business. Like, that's why right now everybody has opportunity to be, you know, start a business, or people want to say entrepreneurs, but you got to understand there's always going to be the process. And then on top of that, it's like, you know, like you say, internet right now is we connecting through Zoom. You know what I'm saying? Like, this don't have nothing to do with like quote unquote race or anything. Like, you can connect with Zoom with anybody from any place, and there you go. If you build the right connections, you can have, you know, business opportunities. Like, you don't have to be face to face to make money now, and that's why I feel like all this narrative pushing education and stuff like that is just crazy because, bro, you don't need it. Like, to 2020, you don't need education. You just need to start working. That's it. Like, and you can do that now. High school, you can have a Shopify, bro. We didn't have internet like that when I was in high school, bro. You could have been like, you could be in 9th grade, having Shopify, and you selling your graduation T-shirts at the end of the year.
I wish I knew that. Oh my god.
Yeah.
Like,
but
I wish I could go back in time.
You know, yeah.
To wrap it up, with like all the stuff that we talked about, like with the change and like what needs to happen and stuff like that. Where does that change start first, like, within yourself? Like, where do you start yourself? Like, you know what I'm trying to say? Where do you start first within?
Oh yeah, you start
happening.
You start with yourself. You just tell yourself that I'm going to try to do better. And I was watching yesterday. I was watching like 20 minutes of like Michael Jordan's clips of his mindset, and he was saying like fear and just the fact that like nobody knows. So like you don't know until you try. So it's no like nobody knew Michael Jordan was gonna be Michael Jordan. He got cut. He got all the stuff. He didn't know he's gonna be. So the fact that you don't know, but the fact that he don't know, you still got a chance. That lets you know you got a chance because you don't know. Nobody knows. Nobody can say. I seen a friend last night. He was like, "Man, I seen you. I'm just seeing you grow with me with P.V.O. Like, I had no idea 5 years ago I would be doing this. Like, this was not even a thought. But I just knew that like I had to do some things different to try to achieve some kind of success. And like, you just got to start. You got to tell yourself, okay, things might not be favorable. And I understand, like, you know, we come from, it's an economical situation. So some people don't have the same access as others, especially in the Black community. But like, you know, if you don't have internet, You can go to the library, or you can go to your neighbor's house who might have internet. Like, you just gotta want to do it. And it just starts with you. That's what I'm learning, like accountability. And I think in the Black community, we don't have that enough. And that's what I get frustrated with this whole Black Lives Matter thing like that, because everything gets thrown in there, but I don't never hear us as a whole taking accountability. You know, it was just 3 shootings here in Tallahassee in the last couple of days. I haven't seen none of the Black leaders, none of the protests, none of those things. But people steady, you know, getting angry and stuff like that. And it's like, bro, we got to start taking accountability. Like, we understand there's a racist society and there's, you know, being Black. We understand all that comes with it, but like, you still got opportunity. There's plenty of opportunity. Like I say, through internet, you can meet people who you never thought you could meet, who don't even know you. They don't know your color. Like, we doing a Zoom, y'all way in Boston. So it's like, that's why that's why I don't watch the news. That's why I say it starts at home. That's why I don't watch it, because you can get distracted from this world. This world will have you distracted. And all the stuff they preach in education and all that stuff, bro, you don't need no teacher to teach you anything. If you need to learn 8 times 5, I guarantee if you go to YouTube right now, type in 8 times 5, you're going to get 30 answers, just like that. Well, I don't need no teacher to tell me that. But, you know, that's just, so I think that's where it starts. And it starts with the individual. But it starts at home. And like you say, with parents, they got to start telling their kids and stuff. Kids got to know that they believe, that you believe in them. You know what I mean? Kids want to know that. But like, a lot of times now, they get distracted with video games and stuff like that. So, you know, they don't really understand. They just, you know, my mom brought me a PlayStation, and they consider that to be her showing love. But like, you know, she should probably at night read a book with you. Even if she starts with just Cat in the Hat, then that's going, if she's not a good reader, or if he's not a good reader, guess what that'll do? Help her learn too. So y'all both start with Cat in the Hat. You know, green eggs and ham. Sam went to the store, green eggs, like, you know, and like, that's where it starts, the basics. It's just the basics.
That connection builds too between like a mother and the child, or a child and their parent, and then that's where like their self-awareness and stuff, low self-esteem and stuff like that will start to build up, like through like love from
Yeah. So we gotta encourage our kids more. But like you said, it's hard, man. I understand it's difficult, especially in the Black community. It's just difficult because we see so much negative stuff. So it's hard. Our minds are clouded, and that's why our mental health, we don't understand, because we just be so clouded about everything else. Like, where I grew up in Miami, where my grandma stay right now, it wasn't nothing to go down the street and on the corner, it's 30, 40 people under this tree. You know, 50-year-old man, 60-year-old, who just under this tree drinking beer, standing at the corner store. You know what I mean? Like, you know, so like, when you seeing that, and I go to school for 8 hours, and 8 hours out of the 8 hours, I'm probably only focused 3 hours if you're lucky. Especially with everybody having cell phones and stuff now. You know, so bro, the only way you can really get it starts from the individual in the household. But we need to let these kids know that they can be greater. And I do want to say this too, like, we gotta break away from that, from the just put my kid to dribble and shoot. I get it. I love sports. I'm a basketball fanatic. That's my favorite sport. But we gotta break away from thinking that sports is the only way that we can create financial, you know, I guess freedom, or get our families out of situations financially through just dribbling and running. We got to get out of that. We got to get out of that. So, you know what I mean? Like, teach your kids stuff that's more, you know, not saying he can't make, but if your kid's not 6'6", or if he's not stream athlete, it's gonna be tough. But like that right there is just partly God. You can't do that. But like, you don't have to be a certain size or a certain height to learn how to be a mechanic. It don't matter to fix ACs or cut lawns. You don't need weight requirements and vertical. You don't need that. You just need work ethic and learn it. And like, what I'm learning now is most things are hard until you actually learn it. You know, I started doing logo designs and all that stuff to illustrate just like 2 months ago. And all the clothes stuff I didn't know, nobody taught me none of these things that I know from P.V.O. All the designs I have created myself. It's just through trial and error. My dad didn't teach me how to cut lawns. I didn't have them. I just tried it out, and I figured it out along the way. And it's not easy, but hey, if it was easy, everybody would do it. So, you know, that's how I feel about that.
You got anything else to say?
Nah, man, positive vibes only. P.V.O. lifestyle, not a trend. I like we need to do more of these. Like I say, this is dope. But I just really think this is a time where, especially for our Black community, like it's still opportunity, even though everything going on. Like I really feel like there's so much. Like I feel like there's gonna be a new wave of like young Black millionaires coming through. I feel like because that's just coming. Like it's gonna be some people who gonna have a great impact on coming out of COVID-19. Who's gonna come out of this thing and be better and get something new. Businesses are closed, so only thing what happens when a business closed means somebody else gonna buy it and reopen. You know what I mean? So like, there's opportunity for people to be innovative right now. There's things that you can do to, like I say, come back. If you cook at the house, create your Instagram page, get a nice little photo. If you can take a photo of you sitting on the sink with your booty out, if you can do all that, bro, take a picture of your food, put it on Instagram. Hey, I'm delivering. If you scared about how it take off at first, start with Monday and Wednesday. Give a time frame. Monday, 11 a.m. to 4 p.m. I will only be open them times for them 2 days. So that way you create leverage, and that way you don't have to worry about putting yourself too far out there. And eventually, if you start getting booked up in them 2 days, you just add more days. But people tend to think, oh, it's too hard to start a business because I like all these variables. No, bro, you just start and you deal with what you have, but you got to learn how to create leverage. And that's what we need to teach us. We need, like say, ownership, create leverage for yourself, create opportunities for yourself. You don't need to have a lot of money. It's not about the money. It shouldn't be about the money. If it's about the process in the building, you should just be happy if you only got 2 customers in that first month. You know what I'm saying? But
Yeah.
So like create leverage, bro. Like just create leverage. Just create it. So if people want to come part of whatever you're doing, try your best to create it where you can. It's going to help you more than hurt than go out and buy. Start cooking 10-course meals, open Friday, 5 days a week. You ain't got no clients, bro. You're gonna end up wasting food. You're gonna lose food. You're gonna lose money. You know what I'm saying? But if you only do Monday and Tuesdays, then I can just create just a little bit. And then, just enough to, if I get 10 clients. And then if you start getting 10 clients, then you build gradually. But just start with a little bit, bro, and create leverage. That's all we need to do. Create leverage. So that's what I would say, create leverage. And like, I don't know how lawn service is up in y'all area. I don't know, is that like a big thing up there? I'm sure it is everywhere, like landscaping and stuff. But
yes, it's huge.
It's huge. And I'm actually, this first time saying it, but I'm actually working on a website now, and I'm gonna start my lawn service back up. But I'm gonna do it different. But this is just free game. I was telling my homeboy the other day. Anybody like people say they don't want to work? Oh, it's too hot. I said, bro, I played football for how many years in the sun with helmets and pads, hoping to make $1 million. Didn't get $1. It wasn't too hot then, but now it's too hot to work, bro. Don't make sense. It's just an excuse. But like, if you want to start a lawn service, perfect example, bro, everything got to come with educating yourself. So like now, if I would have did this 5 years, I would have did this 5 years ago. I'm gonna do this the next time around, bro. Take a month in your area, and just like the surrounding blocks, like 3-4 blocks, go around for a whole month and just make note of all the yards that have not been cut in that 1 month frame. So just take a month to look at all the yards and let a month go by. And if a month goes by and you, whatever amount of yards you have, that's a clear indication that they probably don't have a lawn man. So now you got 30 yards that haven't been cut in a month. Buy you a lawnmower, knock on those doors. Hey, I've been watching, been in the neighborhood for the last month. I noticed you and a couple other our neighbors haven't had any lawn service in the last month. Is it possible you don't have a lawn service, man? Here we are providing, bro. You're gonna probably get, if it's 20 houses, you probably get 10, because it's clear indication that they're not being taken care of. So there's a good probable chance that you can get business. And if you get 10 clients in walking range from your house that let you cut twice a month for $50, that's $1,000 a month, bro.
That's true.
So, and not just for anything. Clothes and stuff a little more difficult, like you say, but I'm just saying, like, practicality, like things that can be done. That's how it can start, bro. I think I believe that. That's how it can start. We just gotta do your little research. You want to sell T-shirts, contact 40 friends and say, hey, maybe I start this. Like, bro, just try to create leverage. It can be done.
All right, to close,
but you gotta trust the process.
To close out, y'all want to do something? Yeah. Y'all want to do y'all brand? Y'all want to promote y'all brand real quick?
Yeah, always, bro. But P.V.O positive vibes only. We on Instagram, P.V.O.apparel. You can go to the website www.pvoapparel.store. October, we're gonna do a massive sale on hoodies as we get ready to go into the winter. So we're gonna do we got some things coming up with that. But like I said, positive vibes only. I just recorded a lot of new content today. I'm gonna be dropping more content videos coming up this week. My goal, like I said, my goal is I want to be the biggest entrepreneur to come through Tallahassee, Florida. And I want to be the I want to be the Gary Vee for the Black community. That's my goal.
So. Yeah.
That's where we at, but hey. So P.V.O, hey, y'all check us out. Like you said, the website, the Instagram, follow us. A bunch of stuff on there, hoodies, shirts, all the things that you can possibly think of to help, just provide a little bit of positive vibes in your life.
All right, yo, thank you, Dade, man, for running up.
Yeah, bro, I'm trying to get better at that, bro. That's why I'm just trying to, they say the games to be sold, not told, but like, it's about empowering other people, and I really want to get to that. That's what P.V.O embodies, like spreading positive vibes, and like we said, we got to spread what you know, because it's all about educating. So I just try to share little things that I know work, little habits and little tricks and trades to the game, man. Entrepreneurship and business owning. It's gotta respect it though. So.
All right, thank you, Dade. Positive vibes only. Yes, sir. All right, bro. Have a good one.
All right, brother.
Peace. All right, yo. All right, yo, check out my store, my online store, dbdzone.com. That's dbdzone.com. We got streetwear, we got formal wear for the ladies, dress, we got two-piece, we got so many stuff. Check it out. We actually doing a sale right now, so 50% off on all jeans. Check out our Instagram at dbdzone, Facebook at dbdzone. Check it out. I promise you're gonna find something you like. If not, just hit me up. Let me know what you want. I'm gonna add it to the store. You can cop it. Spread the word. And yeah.
All right, yo. I kind of want to do some promotion myself, but it's not nothing big. Just go on eBay, Larry the Entrepreneur. Just type that in. I got some shirts up on there. Fear God shirts, kind of dope. But other than that, thank y'all for tuning in. We out of here. That was Dade, positive vibes only. Yes, sir.